Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. My name is ZULHARIZ IMAN and I will be the moderator for today's discussion. Allow me to introduce our group members: ZAKWAN FAIZUDDIN, NORHAZIQ AZHAD, Muhammad NORHAIQAL. Together we are presenting assignment 2 part 1 for BELU 4053 Engineering Ethics and Osha semester 2 session 2025-2026. Today's discussion focuses on two main topics. First, in part A, we will examine the roles of occupational safety and health, or OSH, legal requirements in business management. Second part, which is part B, we will explain the salient features of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, known as OSHA 1994, which is one of the two main acts governing workplace safety in nation. So, the first and most fundamental role of OSH legal requirements is to protect employees from workplace hazards. Every workplace contains potential dangers that, if uncontrolled, can lead to injuries, illnesses, disabilities, or fatalities. According to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health Malaysia, or DOSH, Malaysia recorded over 90,000 workplace accidents in 2022, with more than 700 fatalities. These are alarming statistics that demonstrate why a strong legal framework is essential. Workplace hazards can be grouped into 5 broad categories: physical hazards such as noise, extreme temperatures and radiation; chemical hazards such as toxic fumes and flammable substances; biological hazards such as bacteria and viruses; ergonomic hazards such as repetitive, strain and poor workstation design; and psychosocial hazards such as excessive workload, stress and workplace violence. In the electrical engineering industry, which is directly relevant to our course, workers face serious physical hazards including electrical shocks, arc flashes, electrical burns and fire explosion. In manufacturing, workers risk injuries from moving machine parts. In construction, falling from heights remains one of the leading causes of fatalities in Malaysia. To address these hazards, OSH legal requirements mandate that employers follow the hierarchy of controls. This is a systematic approach, starting from the most effective method, elimination of the hazard, followed by substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and finally the use of personal protective equipment, or PPE, as the last resort. The law requires employers to conduct regular risk assessments, provide proper safety training, supply appropriate PPE, maintain equipment safely, and establish emergency response procedures. When these measures are correctly implemented, the risk of accidents is significantly reduced.
ZULHARIZ,
Yes.
I want to ask you. You mentioned PPE as the last resort in the hierarchy of control.
Yes.
Yet in Malaysian workplace, especially in construction, employers simply hand out their safety helmet and glove and consider their duty is fulfilled. Is this legally sufficient?
That is an excellent observation, Zakwan. No, legally and ethically, it is not sufficient. The law requires employers to first explore elimination, substitution, and engineering controls, providing PPE without attempting higher level controls in considered inadequate under OSH principles and exposes the employer to legal liability if an accident occurs. PPE is the last line of defense, not the primary safety measure. Thank you for raising that.
Okay, for my part is the second role of OSH legal requirement is ensuring ensuring compliance with law and regulation. In Malaysia, organisation must comply with Osha 1994 along with their subsidiary regulation. Under Osha 1994, non-compliance carries serious consequences. Section 50 states that employers who fail to ensure workplace safety can be fined up to 50,000 ringgit or imprisoned for up to 2 years or both. For repeat offence, penalty are even more severe. Beyond financial penalty, organisation can face suspension of their operating license, court order closure, and personal liability for directors and senior management. Under the Act, this makes legal compliance not just an ethical obligation but a business necessity. Organization maintain compliance to several key mechanisms. First, conducting regular internal and external safety audit, maintaining comprehensive safety documentation, delivery mandatory safety training program, establishing a safety and health committee, and appointing a certified safety and health officer for workplace with 100 or more employees, or those in high-risk industries specified in the regulation. These are not optional activities; they are legal requirements. It is also worth noting that compliance with OSH regulation increasingly align with international standards. ISO 45001 is the international standard for the OSHA system. Companies that achieve ISO 45001 certification demonstrate a commitment to safety that goes beyond the legal minimum, which is particularly valuable when working with international business partner multinational companies.
Sorry, Z, you mentioned ISO 45001. Is it the same as OSHA 1994? Are companies required to get the certification?
They are related but not the same. OSHA 1994 is Malaysian legislation compliance. Is mandatory for all covered employers. ISO 45001 is voluntary international standard that provide structured management system framework for occupational health and safety. Achieving ISO 45001 means that organization not only meets the legal minimum but also follow global best practice. Thank you.
Okay. Next, for me, the third role is to improve productivity and operational efficiency. There is a well-established and direct relationship between workplace safety and business performance. From a direct cost perspective, workplace accident result in medical expenses, workers' compensation claims, equipment damage, and the cost of accident investigation. The International Labour Organization or ILO estimates that workplace accident and occupational disease cause approximately 3.94% of global GDP annually, a staggering economic burden. In Malaysia, the Social Security Organization (SOCSO) pays out hundreds of million ringgit each year in compensation to injured workers and their families. These are costs ultimately borne by employers through higher insurance premiums and levies. Beyond direct costs, there are indirect costs that are often even larger. Using Heinrich iceberg theory, for every 1 ringgit of direct cost visible above the surface, there can be 4 to 10 ringgit in hidden indirect costs below, including lost productivity, reduced employee morale, increased staff turnover, production stoppage, legal fees, and reputational damage. When organizations comply with harsh legal requirements and implement effective safety program, they are experience fewer accidents and less downtime. Employees are healthier, more focused, and more motivated. Research consistently show that organizations with strong safety cultures experience higher productivity, lower absenteeism, and better employee retention. Consider an electrical engineering company that properly implement lockout tagout procedure for machinery maintenance. By following these protocols, the company prevent accidental machine startup, protect worker from serious injury, and keep machinery in better condition while reducing unexpected breakdowns and production delay. Safety compliance directly improve operational efficiency.
Ajit, I would like to add a point about government contract. Good safety record can directly influence the realization and on tender and project award,
Yes.
especially for public sector project in Malaysia.
Absolutely right, Haikal. In Malaysia, the Construction Industry Development Board or CIDB evaluates contractor partly based on their safety performance records. Companies with poor safety track records may be disqualified from bidding on government infrastructure project. OSH compliance is therefore not only about avoiding accident, it is about maintaining eligibility for lucrative business opportunities. Thank you for making that connection.
The fourth role of OSH legal requirement is to enhance company reputation and stakeholder confidence into the business environment. Corporate reputation is an increasingly valuable and fragile asset for stakeholders, including customer, investor, employees, supplier, regulatory bodies, and general public. Structure how organize manage their responsibility towards workers and society. Organization that constantly comply with OSH requirement and demonstrate a strong safety culture are perceived responsible, ethical, and trustworthy. This create competitive advantage and open business opportunity. Multinational corporate, for example, often require their Malaysian supplier and subcontractor to demonstrate OSH compliance as a condition of doing business. A strong safety record can therefore be decisive factor in winning contract. From an investor perspective, the growing emphasis on ESG, environment, social, and governance criteria means that workplace safety is now a key metric investors use to evaluate companies. Organizations with poor safety record may receive a lower ESG rating, reducing the attractiveness to institutional investors and impact fund. This effect access to capital and long-term financial sustainability. For employees, a safe workplace is a major in talent attraction and retention. Skilled workers prefer organizations that genuinely care for their well-being. This reduces requirement, cost, and preserves institutional knowledge. Conversely, a major workplace accident can cause lasting reputational damage. News of serious injury or fatality spread rapidly through social media, leading to negative press coverage. Customer will boycott, investor will withdraw, and requirement will be difficult. OSH compliance is therefore strategic investment in a long-term business sustainability, not merely a legal obligation.
Thank you, Haikal. So, would you, the rest of you, agree that OSH management must be embedded into overall business strategy rather than treat as a standalone function?
Absolutely. When safety is integrated into strategic planning and human resources management, the return is in productivity, reputation, and sustainability are far greater than the cost of compliance.
I agree. And the move from the mere compliance to genuine safety excellence required leadership, commitment, employee engagement, and continuous improvement. The law set the floor, but higher performing organizations aim for much higher. This connect well to what we will discuss in part B later.
So, we go to the part B, which is salient features of OSHA 1994. OSHA 1994 is built upon the concept of self-regulation, which is its most defining and foundational salient feature. This concept was largely inspired by the Robbins Report of 1972 from the United Kingdom, which conclude that relying solely on government inspection and enforcement was insufficient to ensure workplace safety across all industries. Self-regulation means that employers, employees, and other duty holders within an organization are primarily responsible for managing their own safety and health standards, instead of waiting for government inspectors to identify hazards and issue enforcement notice. Organizations are expected to proactively identify hazard, conduct risk assessment, implement suitable control measures, and continuously monitor and improving their safety performance. In practice, this means every organization must develop a written safety and health policy, establish safety procedures and work instructions, conduct regular internal safety audits, investigate accidents and near misses, and review safety performance periodically. This approach recognizes that those who work in a particular environment are best positioned to understand the specific hazards present and to develop effective safety solutions. DOSH plays a supervisory and enforcement role, but primary responsibility rests with the organization. This feature fundamentally shifts safety management from reactive, penalty-driven model to a proactive, prevention-focused culture. When self-regulation is effectively implemented, organizations develop a mature safety culture where safety becomes a core organizational value.
Zoris, do you think self-regulation is working effective in Malaysia, given the still relative high accident statistic that we discussed earlier?
Thank you, ZAKWAN. Self-regulation is most effective when organizations have sufficient knowledge, commitment, and resources to implement it properly. The challenge in Malaysia is that many small and medium enterprises or SMEs lack dedicated safety personnel and may not have full awareness of their OSH obligation.
Okay, for the second silent feature is the establishment of general duty for employer and employees. Under Section 15, every employer must ensure, as far as practicable, the safety, health, and welfare of all employees while at work. This covers the provision and maintenance of safe plant and working system, safe arrangement for the use, handling, storage, and transport of substance, the provision of information, instruction, training and supervision, maintenance of the workplace in a safe condition, with adequate welfare facilities such as clean toilet and drinking water. Section 70 extends this duty of care to non-employees, contractor, subcontractor, visitor, and members of the public who may be affected by the employer activities. This is critically important in the electrical engineering and construction industry, where multiple contractors often work on the same site simultaneously. Section 24 places duties on employee. Workers must take reasonable care for their own safety and the safety of others. Cooperate with their employer on safety matters. Use PPE as instructed and not interfere with or miss anything provided for safety. Section 20 additionally places duty on designer, manufacturer, importer, and supplier of plant and substance. They must ensure their products are safe when properly used and must provide adequate safety information.
Regarding Section 17 and contractor safety, does this mean that if a contractor is injured on our company side, we as the host company can be held liable even if the contractor own employer was negligent?
Yes, both parties can potentially be held liable. The host employer has a duty to ensure that workplace is safe for all persons present, including contractors. This is why reputable organizations require contractors to attend safety induction before commencing work, comply with their host company safety rule. Thank you.
Next, for me, I will explain feature 3. The third salient feature is the mandatory establishment of safety and health committees under Section 30 of Osha 1994. Any employer with 40 or more employees or those in industry specified by the minister is required to form such a committee. The committee is a joint management employee body. Its membership includes representatives from both management and the workforce, ensuring safety issues are discussed from multiple perspectives. Key functions of this committee include reviewing the adequacy of safety measures in the workplace, investigating any matter that may pose a risk to safety or health, examining accident and near-miss reports, making recommendation to management for corrective and preventative action, and assisting in the development of safety policies and procedure. The committee is required to meet at least once every 3 months, and minutes must be recorded and made available for inspection by those officers. This creates accountability and a formal record of safety governance within the organization. The significance of the feature lies in worker participation. Research consistently show that organizations with active safety and health committee have lower accident rates compared to those without. When workers have a formal channel to raise safety concern without fear or retaliation, hazards are identified and resolved faster. The committee embodies the self-regulation principle, share ownership of safety across all levels of the organization.
Ajib, What happens if an employer with more than 40 people refuse to establish a safety and health committee?
Failure to establish a safety and health committee when required in an offence under Osha 1994, the employer may be prosecuted and fined. Thus, safety and health inspector have the authority to enter any workplace and verify compliance. Persistent non-compliance can lead to escalating legal action and reputational damage. For organizations that generally value safety, however, forming an effective committee should be seen as an opportunity rather than a burden.
Next, I will continue with fourth. The fourth silent feature of OSHA 1994 significantly broader industry coverage compared to the earlier FMA 1967, combined with its strong enforcement provision. The FMA 1967 was a sector specific. It primarily covered factories and industry permits. OSHA 1994, by contrast, extend to virtually all employment sector in Malaysia, including manufacturing, construction, agriculture, utilities, transportation, and storage. Wholesale and retail trade, hotel and restaurant, financial and business service, and public service and authorities. This means workers across almost all industry, not just factory workers, are entitled to the protection of the Act. OSHA 1994 also introduced the requirement safety and health officer. Organization in scheduled industry or those with 100 or more employees must appoint a complete safety and health officer registered with DOSH. This officer is responsible for developing and implementing the safety management and system, conducting risk assessment, investigating accident, and ensure ongoing compliance with OSH requirement. On enforcement DOSH, safety and health inspector appointed under the Act have wide power. They may enter and inspect any workplace at any time, take sample and photograph, examine record and document, interview employee, and issue notice. There are two types of notice: an improvement notice, which is give an employee a specific time frame to rectify a non-critical contravention, and prohibited notice, which is imitate, prohibit, and dangerous activity when there are risk of serious personal injury. A prohibition notice can halt operation immediately until the hazard is remedied.
Haikal, can you briefly clarify when an inspector issues a prohibition notice, can the employer appeal or contest it?
Yes. Under OSHA 1994, an employer who receives a prohibition notice or improvement notice has the right to appeal the Director General of DOSH within a specific period. The appeal does not automatically suspend the notice. However, in meaning, the prohibited activity must still stop during the appeal process unless the Director General decides otherwise. This prioritizes worker safety over business continuity in situation of serious risk.
Excellent contribution from everyone. Let us now summarize the key takeaways from our discussion today. In part A, we identify 4 key roles of OSH legal requirements in business management. First, protecting employees from workplace hazard through systematic hazard identification, risk assessment, and control using the hierarchy of controls. Second, ensuring compliance with FMA 1967 and Osha 1994 to avoid legal penalties, criminal liability, and loss of operating license. Third, improving productivity and operational efficiency by reducing accidents, downtime, and both direct and indirect costs. Fourth, enhancing company reputation and stakeholder confidence, including ESG ratings, contract eligibility, and talent attraction through demonstrate commitment to worker safety. In Part B, we explore 4 salient features of OSHA 1994, the self-regulation concept, which places proactive safety responsibility on employers and employees rather than relying on government enforcement. The general duties framework under Section 15, 17, 20, and 24, which covers employees, designers, manufacturers, and suppliers. The mandatory establishment of safety and health committees to promote joint worker management ownership of workplace safety, and OSHA 1994, a broad industry coverage combined with strong enforcement provisions, including the appointment of safety and health officers and the power to issue improvement and prohibition notices.
To conclude that, OSH legal requirements are not burden to business, they are strategic investment. Organizations that move beyond minimum compliance and genuinely embed a safety culture achieve higher productivity, stronger reputation, and greater long-term sustainability.
For me, I agree. The journey from compliance to excellence requires visible leadership commitment, genuine employee participation, and a continuous improvement mindset.
And as future engineering technologists, we have a professional and ethical obligation to champion workplace safety in whatever organization we join, whether as employees or an employer. Understand and applying OSH legal requirement is not just an academic exercise. It is responsibility we carry for future safety and well-being of every person we work with.
So, well said. Thank you for watching our discussion. We hope that the knowledge that we share today contributes to a better understanding of occupational safety and health in Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you.